Now, a study was once done at the University of Maryland. All right, well, what motivates people at work? They found 10 things. They then went to 200 people in management positions, asked them to rate these 10 things as they thought their people would be motivated by them. They then went to those employees, and guess what? What the employees had 1, 2, and 3, management had 8, 9, and 10. What management had 1, 2, and 3 were genetic factors, things they felt helpless to control. What the employees had 1, 2, and 3 were non-genetic factors, things anybody can control. This is what the employees said. Number 1, appreciation. Good job, thank you. I don't know what we would do without you. This is what Ken Blanchard, Mr. One-Minute Manager, calls catching people in the act of doing things right. He says in the past, too many organizations ran on the seagull system of management. Somebody does something wrong, fly in, make a lot of noise, crap all over them. Salt Lake City Transit Authority was rated the worst customer service in the entire United States. Bus drivers there proudly proclaim, "We're the worst. Thank you." They had no money to award people, but they went to the community, asked for some donations. The ice cream store gave some cones. The movie theater gave some tickets. They gave these to drivers when they were nice to passengers. 365 days later, the worst got rated second best customer service in the entire United States. Ice cream cone, ticket to the movies, thank you. Do note that appreciation touches people right here at the level of self-esteem, making them feel good about what they do every day. That's within our control. What came out number 2 on the employees list was being an insider. Being an insider really meant control of what they did every day. And there's different ways that people can feel in control of what they do every day. One is when people set goals or standards. Anytime people set their own goals or standards, they're more committed and they hit them more often than not. When people have high-quality information, or they can find out anything they need to know, then they feel in control. Consider this for a moment. If I find something out through a rumor mill that will affect me, I feel like, uh-oh, stuff is just happening to me. Things are out of control. Well, what human beings do when they feel out of control is they emotionally dissociate. I'm not attached. You never get excellence out of emotionally dissociated people. Excellence is commitment. It's the edge. It's 10%. Another way that people feel on the inside is when we listen to their ideas and allow them to make things happen. Now, this is the place we should compare ourselves to the Japanese. Average Japanese worker gives 24 suggestions each year on how to improve whatever they're associated with. Guess what the average American gives? I'll give you a hint. It's less. 0.14. That sounds like this. Hey, boss, never mind. In Japan, they implement 76% of all suggestions. In the U.S., we implement 29% of our 0.14. Do you realize at 0.14, it will take you 7 years to get a complete thought from someone? But actually, there are many American companies that are well into the 90% range of implementation of people's ideas, and there's always 2 things there. Success leaves a trail. Number 1, they're always organized into smaller self-managed teams. Smaller teams. So you don't have to convince a bureaucracy, you talk to your 7 or 8 team members. And then number 2, high-quality information. See, the quality of ideas you get from people is equal to the quality of information people have in the first place. If I do not have high-quality information, I could come up with an idea, but it doesn't take into effect the federal regulations, and then it violates the budget, and it didn't consider what that other department has to deal with every day, and so it doesn't happen. Literally, the quality of ideas you get is equal to the quality of information people have in the first place. This is all under our control. We can let people set goals. We can listen to what they have to say. We can give them information. Motivation is really an individual thing, and when in doubt, you ask people. But I do want to caution you about this big pit in the road, a pit of powerlessness. You see, I do many public programs, and sometimes full-day trainings, and I'll have people sit and listen to this kind of stuff and say, you know, this is great, but I know who should be at this program. Or if I had more power, maybe I could do something. Tom Peters once told me he did an excellence program for all the governors of the United States, big country, North America, governors. He said at the end of the program, the governors all came up to him and said, "This is great, but how will we get our people to do it? I'm only the governor." It may seem absurd on one hand, but look at it from their perspective. They deal with an entrenched bureaucracy. They're in, they're out. Marketing data and historical data have clearly shown that when 20% of a given population gets an idea, it is there to stay. 20% is the magic number. That means if you are totally committed to being excellent, and you work in a team of 5 people, you're already 20%. If you work with a team of 10, then you only got to convince one other person. The other folks are not committed to mediocrity. They're just unconscious, and your light will wake them up. And that which we call excellence seems to spread naturally because it will support the bottom line of the organization. It feels good to the people who are doing it, and it really doesn't cost anything to implement, except a little bit of time. And if there is one bottom line action step to take out of today's program, you have to put up the walls on 20 minutes a day and just take one step forward. Just preserve 20 minutes a day to take one step forward, and you will make changes.